This is Just a Thought, a podcast for parents ready to change their mind and change their lives. This podcast is packed full of the one thing that will change your life, your parenting, and your relationships. Don't believe me? It's just a thought. This is your host, Christina Stead, and this is episode 9, Confident Parenting. In the past 8 episodes, we've discussed some of the taboo parts of my life and my thinking, and I've shared all this with you because it's the taboo parts of my life that have taught me so much about myself. I'm more confident because I've learned to watch my stinking thinking. I've learned to finally love myself, and I've learned to use the life coach school model to intentionally choose my thoughts more regularly. And today, I want to confide in you some of what I'm still working on and how I'm practicing intentional thinking as often as I can, and my hacks for doing just that. My mess is my message for you. We are all thinking the same things, and it's more fun when we can think about them together. So here's my current observation. I still find myself thinking and obsessing about my children's experiences. I find myself thinking, maybe I'm doing too much for them, or maybe I'm not doing enough. Sometimes I think someone else needs to be nicer to them. Other times I think they need to be nicer. Sometimes I still focus on what kind of kids I think they are, rather than focusing on the way I choose to parent and choosing what I allow or don't allow in my home. And all these thoughts are normal and okay and make sense. So I'm choosing to be curious and observant about the things I say and do instead of resentful and judgmental. And I'm choosing to feel the same way about the things they choose to say and do. I'm their mother. I choose to nurture them, protect them, love them, and I choose to teach them what I believe is helpful to them. Sometimes I don't show up like I want to, but I still think it's worthwhile and fun to keep trying. I still don't get to determine what they will or won't do. I don't get to choose that. My children are my circumstance and I'm theirs. I also don't get to change anything that has already happened. I can't go back. There's that thought that goes something like, if you think too much about the past, you'll feel depressed. But if you focus too much on the future, you'll get anxiety. And if you focus on the now, you get to feel alive. I don't know. I don't know if that's actually the quote, but it's something like that. Anyway, as I've changed my focus and realized what I'm responsible for and what I'm not, my healthy, functioning, worry-prone brain still finds plenty to worry about. I worry, am I choosing appropriate consequences for my children and for the different circumstances that we are faced with? Am I using methods that are healthy and helpful? How can I best encourage them to govern themselves? Am I setting a good example of the kind of person I hope they'll be? I don't know is still often the thought that comes into my mind as a response to these questions. This thought most likely comes because of my belief that something might go wrong or I might mess things up, which results in me feeling afraid to do or say anything. So I like to reply to my brain when it says, I don't know. I ask, if I did know what to do or say, what would it be? And that usually gives my brain new thoughts to focus on finding, instead of all the ones telling me what I don't know. And if nothing else, I remind myself that I'm learning and I'm growing and observing, and God's got this figured out already. I'll get the info I need at the right time. So with that in mind, I've pondered how I want to feel as a mom. The 2 feelings I've decided I want to feel most in my parenting is love and confidence. I want to make decisions based on those feelings rather than on feelings of fear, resentment, discouragement, or indecision. I realize that since I'm a human and not a robot, I'm not always able to manage and be intentional about my thinking, but I'm okay with that. So let's get into managing our thoughts so we can make decisions confidently and lovingly. In Jody Moore's Be Bold coaching program, I love listening to others getting coached. I listen thinking, wow, I'm not the only one thinking the thoughts I'm thinking. We are all seriously running the same thoughts through our brains. It's validating, it's comforting, it's inspiring. So I decided it would be fun today to go through the model with you and show you how the model can help you choose thoughts that give you feelings of love and confidence if you're looking to feel those things too. Also, as we sort through what's going on in our brains, many times we have the opportunity to intentionally choose thoughts that will eventually lead to the results or circumstances we want in the future. So maybe you can start dreaming big with me. All right, so let's dissect a common situation. The way we work something through the model is we look to find a specific event that is bothering us or making us feel stuck. Don't try to solve for everything. Just choose one moment, as recent and specific and neutral as possible. Use only the unemotional facts of what actually happened. If someone did something, state the fact exactly, not what you thought they meant by it. But hold on to that thought, what you thought they meant by it. What we think about the circumstance will come next. For example, a circumstance would be, I cooked dinner and my daughter said, I hate this. This is disgusting. Why do you always cook gross food? So this circumstance is the list of the facts. What happened? What she said exactly. Notice I didn't say she, stared at her food and I knew what she was thinking. No, I don't know what she's thinking, but I know what she said. So I quoted what she said. Next, I analyze my thoughts, what I think about what happened, and what I might make it mean about me, others, and my experience. In that moment, I remember what words my daughter said, and I'm going to have a ton of thoughts. I'm going to experience feelings connected to all of my thoughts, even though I'm not even experiencing that moment anymore. In real life, I still remember that moment, and my thoughts and my emotions come back vividly, and this just confirms to me that my thoughts and emotions aren't confined to any circumstance. I'm open to think and feel whatever I want, whenever I want, without changing my circumstance. And that's really cool. So anyways, the main thoughts I choose to focus on will reflect the beliefs I have. So here's the thought download about the circumstance. As I remember the experience and the thoughts come back to me, this is what they are. She is so rude. I should have taught her to be more respectful. I've tried to teach her. Maybe something's wrong with me. Bad mom thought. Maybe something's wrong with her. Bad kid. Maybe she will never be respectful. I wonder what other people think when she acts like this. I don't know why I try. I never want to cook for my family again. Maybe she doesn't know better. She is young. Why am I overreacting? I wish she would just be grateful and eat the food I've made and be happy. Maybe I'm expecting too much. But she needs to eat the food. She only eats garbage. I don't know how to make her eat. This is so frustrating. I could pick any of those thoughts to be my thought for a model. I could make a model for each of those thoughts. Just using that same circumstance, and I could go through and pop each of those thoughts in, and then the feelings that come with those thoughts. But I'm going to focus on the last one, the thought, this is so frustrating. So our circumstance is, I cooked dinner and my daughter said words. My thought was, this is so frustrating. My feelings were discouragement and shame. My action that was motivated by that thought was to slouch down, avoid eye contact, become snappy towards my daughter and the rest of my family, and my result was feeling more frustration. My result is always a reflection of the thought that I thought. That's how you know you're on the right track, is when your result matches the thought that you originally thought. Then you've got your model written out correctly. And it also shows us that if we want to end up with a different result, like feeling love and confidence instead of frustration, we can play with our thoughts and they'll bring different results. It's like trying on clothes. You feel more confident in some things than others. Wear the thing that makes you feel confident if that's the feeling you're looking for. So back to our model. If I decide I'm interested in feeling differently, I don't have to change my circumstance. I don't have to make my daughter suddenly turn into this super polite, super nice little girl. I can't change that, and I don't have to. All I need to do is choose a different thought to focus on, and I'll immediately feel differently. So let's try it out. Our circumstance is I cooked dinner and my daughter said words. Now I get to play with my thoughts. For me, there are quite a few that I believe that result in me feeling confidence and love. And the more I look for them, the easier it is to find them. Maybe some of these thoughts will work for you too. Here are my thoughts. I am doing the best I can to cook and to parent. My child is being a child. I'm going to keep being her mom. I didn't cook dinner to please my daughter. I cooked dinner because I chose to. I'm learning, observing, looking for the most effective solutions. I can imagine my daughter as a 25-year-old who is always making excuses to come over and eat my food someday when she realizes how great it actually is. So I'll just pick one of these thoughts. I could have a bunch more, but these are a few that just came to me in the moment, and that's all I need. As I think those thoughts, I feel more confident. So let's grab one and throw it in the model. Today I like the thought, my child is being a child, I'm going to keep being her mom. I put it in the model and it goes like this. Circumstance, I cooked dinner and my daughter said words. My thought, my child is being a child, I'm going to keep being her mom. My feelings, relaxed, confident, loving, curious. This thought stimulates new thoughts, like what's a fun way I can teach her better manners or teach her more respect? I'm going to keep on cooking because that's the way I want to show up and parent. I have time, I have energy, I can cook, I kind of enjoy it. It's good. I'm going to keep doing it, even though my daughter doesn't always like what I cook. That's okay. My action from these thoughts is to smile, to lovingly redirect, to eat my dinner confidently. My result, I recognize my daughter as a child and I'm her mom, and we are both free within our roles. So isn't that way more fun? Sometimes I like to play with extreme thoughts in my mind just to experience the different feelings. And I've always kind of done this growing up in order to help myself work through feelings of anxiety and depression. Sometimes I would just take my mind to the extreme and be like, okay, worst case scenario. What's the very, very, very worst thing I can possibly imagine happening? And I would imagine pretty low stuff. And I would have to work through it in my mind and be like, what would I do if this happened? And, sometimes it would give a little bit more anxiety. But sometimes it would help just to be like, well, that's pretty extreme. And I guess I would figure it out. But obviously it's probably not going to be that bad. And then I would be able to move forward and deal with life because life usually isn't as bad as we can possibly imagine. And that's pretty great. So now that I understand the model and why that kind of worked for me, I still like to play with extreme thoughts. And I like to experience the different feelings that come with them. So I sometimes will choose a thought in between two extremes. For example, I am the best mom in the world. This thought, if I'm willing to believe it, feels exciting and successful to me. And it feels really good. But it's got a little bit of shakiness to it, right? Because if I'm the best mom, here comes the extreme. I am the worst mom in the world. If I'm capable of being the best mom, I am also capable of being the worst mom. And that one hits my gut like a bowling ball. I want to hide. I feel ashamed. And then there's some thoughts in the middle. Sometimes I'm the best mom in the world. Sometimes I'm the worst. But I choose to love me either way. Or here's another one. I'm a human mother, and I'm learning how to parent in lots of fun ways. Anyway, I could continue on. The thoughts are endless. But I hope that this helps you to start practicing playing with the model and exploring new thoughts for your reoccurring experiences. Because it might surprise you to find that some of your experiences that seemed the most frustrating can literally be changed like the flip of a switch. It really is just a thought. If you're feeling stuck, know that you're not alone. Feel free to post a question in the comments, and I'll help you work on a model to work through that problem. This is your host, Christina Stead, and this is just a thought.